Uh-oh, Dilbert creator Scott Adams is upset about all things race-related, and he advises white people to get the hell away from black people. Get the hell out of here! Now, what apparently set Scott off was the results of a poll, and from that he concluded that half of black people in the country hate white people. So I looked into this poll that has Scott all angry. This poll was done by a company called Rasmussen Reports, and in this poll they asked participants if they agree or disagree with the phrase, quote, "it's okay to be white," unquote. And so out of the black participants, 53% said they agree, so the majority. 26% disagreed, and 21% were unsure. Now you're probably thinking, for Scott to be as mad as he was about that poll, then there must have been a very large sample size of black people who participated. You guys want to know how many black people participated in this poll? 117. 117. So the 26% that disagreed, so that's around 30 people, that's the big black hate group that Scott Adams was referring to. I mean, white people run for cover. That is a very large hate group. I'm surprised you even feel comfortable leaving the house. So that poll of 117 participants is where he concluded that half of black people in the country hate white people. That's obviously ridiculous, but you know, he's very adamant about it. Like, hey, it's not me. Look at this poll right here. This poll says it. So I guess using that logic, I can survey around 200 white people from around the country, ask them a bunch of racial questions, and from that, I can get an accurate assessment for how white people in the country feel about race. It's completely ridiculous. Scott Adams was already most likely upset. He was in an elevated emotional state, so when he saw the headline, it set him off, and he didn't bother looking into it. And the more I listened to his rant, I got the impression that it wasn't something recent that set him off. I believe he was most likely expressing racial sentiments he's always had. Nothing in his background really indicates extensive personal contact with black people. So Scott Adams grew up in Windham, a city in upstate New York. The black population there is less than half of 1%, and it's that way now. So when Scott Adams grew up there, it was most likely 0%. Just to give you a little historical background on that area of the country, back in the 1930s, before World War II, the Nazi Party still had a significant following here in the U.S. The American branch of Nazi sympathizers, called the German American Bund, that's B-U-N-D, operated a number of summer camps for boys of German descent on the East Coast, one of which was in Windham, New York. So it gives you a little sense of the area. So he grew up there, went to college in the area. Short time after that, came to California, got an MBA from UC Berkeley, worked at Pacific Bell, where he started his cartoon Dilbert. It took off from there, and he switched to it full time. So, you know, based on where he was brought up and his movement over the years, I just really doubt he's had extensive personal contact with black people over the course of his lifetime. The weirdest part about the rant was when he was talking about he's no longer helping black people. He was helping black people? I mean, he didn't elaborate on that, probably because there's nothing to elaborate on. Now, I don't claim to be an official Scott Adams biographer, but was he some kind of prominent philanthropist to the black community in some kind of way? I've been helping black people for years. I sent all of my Dilbert income to the United Negro College Fund, and I can't even get a thank you out of those people. I'm done. I've had So that was kind of odd. He was kind of presenting himself as this longtime benevolent friend to the black community who's just been betrayed one too many times. Officer Tatum, who in my opinion at times engages in unhealthy idol worship with white people, he had a response video, and he was talking about, you know what I'm saying, my brother Scott Adams went off. You know, I really doubt that Mr. Windham, New York has ever referred to people that look like you and me as his brother. So your admiration for him is a sad-ass one-way street.